Gather the pots and the old tin can and the mash and the corn and the barley and the bran. Run like the devil from the excise man, keep the smoke from our eyes and Barney. Mountain breezes as they blow, hear the rocko in the glens below. The big tall men are on the go in the hills of Connemara. Gather the pots and the old tin can and the mash and the corn and the barley and the bran. Run like the devil from the excise man, keep the smoke from our eyes and Barney. A bottle for the butcher, a bottle for Tom, and a bottle for poor old Father John, to help his prayers and hymns along in the hills of Connemara. Gather the pots and the old tin can and the mash and the corn and the barley and the bran. Run like the devil from the excise man, keep the smoke from our eyes and Barney. Stand your ground, boys, it's too late. Them excise men are at the gate. Glory be to God, sure they're drinking it straight in the hills of Connemara. Gather the pots and the old tin can and the mash and the corn and the barley and the bran. Run like the devil from the excise man, keep the smoke from our eyes in Barney. Swing to the left, boys, swing to the right. Them excise men will drink all night, drinking of the tea till the broad daylight in the hills of Connemara. Gather the pots and the old tin can, the mash and the corn and the barley and the bran. Run like the devil from the excise man, keep the smoke from our eyes in Barney. Ah, beer's the stuff that's good enough if you're hot and thirsty too. It'll cure your thirst with an icy burst, but it leaves you sober too. So when you're sitting down to drink the serious stuff, it's true. Just fill your cup till it's brimming up with a good old Tullamore Dew. Aye, diddly-diddly-dum, diddly-diddly-dum, diddly-dee-ry, diddly-dee-dy-dee. Aye, diddly-diddly-dum, diddly-diddly-dum, diddly-dee-ry, diddly-dee-dy-dee. Ah, there's lots of drinks that think they're whiskey, some more famous too. I've tried them all, both great and small, and I'll tell you what's true. Ah, Walker's Red can turn your head, Jack Daniels makes you blue. Beam may be smooth, but it's paint remover next to the Tullamore Dew. Aye, diddly-diddly-dum, diddly-diddly-dum, diddly-dee-ry, diddly-dee-dy-dee. Aye, diddly-diddly-dum, diddly-diddly-dum, diddly-dee-ry, diddly-dee-dy-dee. Now the learned men who use the pen never wrote your praises high. The sweet poteen from Ireland green, distilled from the wheat and rye. Throw away your pills, it'll cure all ills, be a pagan, Christian or Jew. Take off your coat and grease your throat with a bottle of the Tullamore Dew. Aye, diddly-diddly-dum, diddly-diddly-dum, diddly-dee-ry, diddly-dee-dy-dee. 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 When apples still grow in November, when blossoms still cling to each tree, when the leaves are still green in December, it's then that our land will be free. I've wandered her hills and her valleys, and still to my sorrow I see a land that has never known freedom, and only her rivers run free. I drink to the death of her manhood, to those men who would rather have died than to live in the cold chains of bondage, to fight for their rights once denied. Oh, where are you now when we need you? What blooms where the flame used to be? Are you gone like the snows of last winter? And will only our rivers run free? How sweet is life, but we're crying. How mellow the wine, but we're dry. How fragrant the rose when it's dying. How gentle the wind when it sighs. What good is in youth when we're aging? What joy is in eyes that can't see, when there's sorrow and there's sunshine and there's flowers, and still only our rivers run free. As long as I was on that subject, I thought, well, I'd follow that up with a song from the very beginnings of Ireland's struggle. This is the oldest song I know in the English language, dating as it does to the year 1583. At that time, Queen Elizabeth was doing her number, and she commissioned an entire army under the command of a man named Lord Grey de Wilton. And they formed what amounted to being a sort of an amphibious force. They landed in Dublin Bay, went south into the Wicklow Mountains, and they'd used a slash and burn policy. If it moved, you killed it, and if it didn't move, you burned it. And they finally got to a place called the Pass of Glenmalure, where they ran into an Irish army commanded by Filk O'Byrne. And so this song was written. And it's called Follow Me Up to Carlow, and the first line is the only one that's maybe a little confusing, I guess. It says, Hold Macahir Og your face. The word Og means young, and Macahir is a man's name, so it's like saying, Young Macahir, hold your face. Then there's references to colours, but that's just because Lord Grey de Wilton was the commander of the British. Hope you all took notes. There'll be a quiz. Hold Macahir Og your face from brooding over your old disgrace, that Black Fitzwilliam stormed your place and drove you to the fern. Grey said victory was sure, and soon the firebrand he'd secure, until he met at Glenmalure with Filk O'Byrne. Curse and swear, Lord Kildare, Filk will do what Filk will dare. No Fitzwilliam, have a care, all in is your Starlow. Out with halberd, out with sword, and none will go over by the Lord. Filk MacHugh has given the word, follow me up to Carlow. See the swords of Glenamal, they're flashing over the English pale. See all the children of the Gael beneath O'Byrne's banner. Rooster of a fighting stock, would ye let a Saxon cock crow out upon an Irish rock? Fly up and teach him manners. Curse and swear, Lord Kildare, Filk will do what Filk will dare. No Fitzwilliam, have a care, for fallen is your Starlow. Out with halberd, out with sword, and none will go over by the Lord. Filk MacHugh has given the word, follow me up to Carlow. From Tasaggart to Clonmore there flows a stream of Saxon gore, and great is Rory O'Gomore at sending the loons to Hades. For white is sick and grey is red, and now for Black Fitzwilliam's head we'll send it over dripping red to Queen Liza and her ladies. Curse and swear, Lord Kildare, Filk will do what Filk will dare. No Fitzwilliam, have a care, fallen is your Starlow. Out with halberd, out with sword, and none will go over by the Lord. Filk MacHugh has given the word, follow me up to Carlow. Hold Macahir Og your face, for brooding over your old disgrace, that Black Fitzwilliam stormed your place and drove you to the fern. For white is sick and grey is red, and now for Black Fitzwilliam's head we'll send it over dripping red to Queen Liza and her ladies. Curse and swear, Lord Kildare, Filk will do what Filk will dare. No Fitzwilliam, have a care, all in is your Starlow. Out with halberd, out with sword, and none will go over by the Lord. Filk MacHugh has given the word, follow me up to Carlow. We are all here together, here to drink and to fight, with our strength in our backs and our weapons in plain sight. There's not a man among them could back us down tonight, as we drink to the health of the Dorsai. If it wasn't for the Dorsai, what would you do? You wouldn't have the freedom to take a drink or two. You wouldn't have the choice of the devil or the blue, if it wasn't for the work of the Dorsai. Oh, there's gunners and there's dirtmen and there's lasermen and all. There's guards and there's assassins and there's colour fighters tall. We're drinking tonight before a planet fall, and we'll drink to the health of the Dorsai. If it wasn't for the Dorsai, what would you do? You wouldn't have the freedom to take a drink or two. You wouldn't have the choice of the devil or the blue if there wasn't for the work of the Dorsai. You think you're all secure and your shields will save your lives. A Dorsai gun will catch you in your lies. We're strong and gifted warriors and proud to bear the signs that separate mere men from the Dorsais. If it wasn't for the Dorsai, what would you do? You wouldn't have the freedom to take a drink or two. You wouldn't have the choice of the devil or the blue if it wasn't for the work of the Dorsai.
To try that one. I haven't tried that since I wrote it.
I changed one or two, or there's going to be others changed in the future.
I had a request last night where some poor woman came up to me, this out in Rochester, and with a very thick English accent. She said, would you please just sing one song that's nice about England? I told her I had, as a matter of fact, two. This is one.
I met my love by Woolwich Pier, beneath a big crane standing, and oh, the love I felt for her did pass all understanding. And I took her sailing on the river flow, sweet river flow. London town was mine to give her, sweet Thames flow softly. And I made the Thames into a crowding flow, sweet river flow. Made a brooch of silver town, sweet Thames flow softly. By Hampton Yard I held her hand, at Blackwall Point I faced her, at the Isle of Dogs I kissed her mouth and tenderly embraced her. I kissed her once again at Wapping flow, sweet river flow. After that there was no stopping, sweet Thames flow softly. Limehouse Reach I gave her there, flow, sweet river flow. As a ribbon for her hair, sweet Thames flow softly. From Shadow Dock to Nine Elms Reach, we cheek to cheek were dancing, and her necklace made of Putney Bridge, and her beauty was enhancing. And I heard the bells of Greenwich ringing, flow, sweet river flow. All the time my heart was singing, sweet Thames flow softly. I gave her Hampton for to twist, flow, sweet river flow. Into a bangle for her wrist, sweet Thames flow softly. But now, alas, the tide has changed, my love she has gone from me, and winter's frost has touched my heart and put a sadness over me. Rain and fog are on the river flow, sweet river flow. Sun and moon and stars gone with her, sweet Thames flow softly. Swiftly the Thames runs to the sea, flow, sweet river flow. Bearing ships and part of me, sweet Thames flow softly.
I'd like to do one or two songs here while I'm at it. I promised I would do a couple anyway that come from maybe my favorite place on earth, which is actually right along the southern coast of Maine. I love that place so much, I can't stand it. And the songs and the stories. And this is the time of year that's almost perfect for this song. When the deer has gone to ground and the bear has settled down and the northern goose has wandered off for warmer bay and sound, it's so easy in the cold to feel the darkness of the year, and the heart is always yearning for the morning. Ah, my Joni, don't you know that the stars are swinging low and the earth is sailing easy as it has since long ago? And if I had a thing to give you, I would tell you one more time that the world is always turning towards the morning. When the darkness falls around you and the north wind comes to blow, and you hear him call your name out as he walks the brittle snow, that old wind don't mean you trouble. He don't care, he don't even know. He's just walking down the darkness towards the morning. Well, it's a pity that we don't know what the little flowers know. They can't stand the cold November, they can't take the wind and snow. They put their glories all behind them, they bow their heads and they let it go. But then you know they'll be there shining in the morning. Ah, my Joni, don't you know that the stars are swinging low and the earth is sailing easy as it has since long ago? And if I had a thing to give you, I would tell you one more time that the world is always turning towards the morning. Oh, my Joni, don't you know that the winter's moving slow and the north wind's blowing easy as he did once long ago? And if that wind should come and ask you, why is my Joni weeping so, won't you tell him that you're weeping for the morning? Ah, Joni, don't you know that the stars are swinging low and the earth is sailing easy as it has since long ago? And if I had a thing to give you, I would tell you one more time that the world is always turning towards the morning. I had a request to do this one too as well. See, I kind of did that one as a lead up. This is a song called Peter Kagen and the Wind. Actually, it's not a song really, it's a story. And it's a long one, I have to admit that up front, just before I ask for quiet, because it's one of those. This is a song about the legends of the Silkie, or the seal people, the creatures that can come out of the water and take on a human form anyway. And they can do all the things that normal humans do, bad and good and otherwise, except one. The call, in most of the legends, there is a constant call to the sea. And there's usually the hang up there that if they go back to the sea for any reason, they revert to the seal form forever. The legends of the Silkie seem to be common to every country I've ever heard about around the Atlantic Rim, and Maine is no exception. So all you have to remember in this song is that it's about a Silkie. Peter Kagen was a lonely man in the summer of his years. And one day he got tired of being lonely, and he went away off to the Easter. And when he came again, he had a wife with him. She was kind, you know, and people liked her. And she was good for Kagen. She kept him company. And winter come to summer, they were happy. Kagen had a dory then. He kept a lug sail on her. He'd go offshore 3-4 days setting for the fish. But oh, his wife, she never liked to see him go. She'd go down to the sea and she'd call to him. Kagen, 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 bring the dory home, for the wind and sea do follow thee, and oh, but I do fear for thee. Kagen claimed he could hear her singing 25 miles to sea. And when he heard her, he'd sail home, whether he had fish or none. She was a seal, you know. Everybody knew that. Even Kagen, he knew that. But nobody would say it to him. And then one day in that year's autumn, Kagen says, I got to go now. I got to go offshore and set for the fish. But his wife said, no, don't go. The winter's coming and the snow. Kagen, 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 don't go out to sea, for the winter snow and ice to come, and oh, but I shall fear for thee. Kagen, 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 don't go out to sea, for the winter wind shall follow thee, and oh, but I shall fear for thee. But Kagen says it's early in the year, and so he raises sail on his dory, and he takes her out to sea. Kagen sails out on the middle ground. The wind is east all day, settling down. The fish are coming to him. Kagen reads the writing on the sky and the water. He sees the cirrus cloud set up high in the northeast. Well, that's all right for autumn, says Kagen. Only means a change of wind. And I ain't afraid of wind. But Kagen reads it wrong this time. The wind slowly shifts around to the northeast, begins to braze on. The sea turns from a deep blue-green to a dark slate-gray. The swell begins to rise. Kagen says, I think I better go now. So he raises sail on the yard, and he bears away to the north for the gong. But oh, the wind is working. The wind snatches around to the east again, makes the seas confused. Wind blows harder, blows bigger. Pretty soon it's blowing so hard the sail tears out. So Kagen ships the sail, and the dory goes a-drifting. Kagen says, all right then. He takes the oars out of the bilge and he slips them into the locks. Now he's gonna row north for the gong. Oh, the wind is working. The wind says, listen, Kagen, I got something to tell you. Kagen rowing, I don't want to hear it. But oh, the wind is working now. The wind backs around toward the north again, makes the seas confused. Pretty soon the seas are so short, Kagen knows he isn't getting anywhere. So he ships the blades, and the dory goes a-drifting. The fog comes around him. And then he hears the sound of the gong buoy. He knows it isn't far away. But by and by he drifts off toward the east. And the sound of the buoy fades away. Kagen says, all right then. He pries a sliver of wood out of the taffrail to make a needle, waxes up handle iron to make a thread. The wind says, Kagen, what you doing? Kagen says, you keep watching. Takes the sail off the boom and he sews her up short. Sews a reef in her, then another reef. Now he's got a storm, so he raises the sail back on the yard and he bears away to the north for the gong. But oh, the wind is working now. The wind swings around into the dead north, straight down out of the bay. Now Kagen can't hold his course, so he brings the dory about. Now he's steering east. The wind says, Kagen, you're headed out to sea. Kagen says, I'll come about by and by when I can fetch that gong. The wind says, I'll veer on you, I'll go east again. Kagen says, you do that and I can hold my course again. The wind says, I'll back. Kagen says, you back too far and you'll have to clear. Any sailor knows that. I can keep ahead of you. The wind says, you may be stronger, Kagen. I'm stronger. You watch. And all the wind begins to work now. Wind rears back and blows bigger, blows harder. Pretty soon it's blowing so hard the sail says, I can't do it, Peter. Kagen says, I know that sail, thank you. So he ships the sail. And the dory goes a-drifting. Now Kagen takes the sail off the yard and he wraps it round him. Now sail, you keep me warm. The wind says, Kagen, canvas sail can't keep you warm. Kagen, 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 bring the dory home, for the winter wind does follow thee, and oh, but I do fear for thee. Kagen, 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 bring the dory home, for the winter snow and ice to come, and all these ledges calling me. And Kagen stands up in the bow with one foot in the pulpit and the other shakes his fist into the wind and he says, I'm not afraid of cold. But Kagen is afraid. He doesn't know what to do now. And the wind says, Kagen, I'll freeze you. And oh, the wind begins to work now. The wind slowly backs around into the nor'east. The wind brings ice and sleet and snow. The wind blows long and cold and black. Kagen says, I'm dying, sail, keep me warm. Kagen dying and the wind blows. The wind blows long and cold and black. Kagen, 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 turn thee now to me, for I do swim to comfort thee, though all these ledges calling me. Kagen, 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 lay thee down to sleep, for I do swim to comfort thee, and all in thy dear body keep. So Kagen lays down on the bilge of the dory, and he tries not to be afraid of the dying. And he dreamt of her then, of his wife. He dreamt he could hear her singing to him. And he raised his head over the rail, and he heard a great calling down the wind. As down through all the smoking sea she came, and over the rail of the dory she came, and laughing into his arms. And all through the night in the storm they did lay, and the wind and the sea blew away. And so they found him then next morning, asleep in the bilge of a drifting dory, an old brown sail wrapped around him, and there was a seal lying with him, all curled over him like a blanket there, and all the snow was upon the seal.
In South Australia I was born, heave away, Holloway, South Australia, round Cape Horn, and Lumber, South Australia, and all the way her ruling king, and heave away, and Holloway, all the way you'll hear me sing of Lumber, South Australia. And as I rode out one morning fair, heave away, Holloway, 'twas there I met sweet Nancy Blair, of Lumber, South Australia, and all the way her ruling king, and heave away, and South Australia. And as we wallop around Cape Horn, heave away, Holloway, you wish to God you never was born, and we're going for South Australia. And all the way a rolling king, and heave away in Holloway, all the way you'll hear me sing along for South Australia. And here we are in New South Wales, sheer in shape as big as whales, with leather necks and shaggy tails, and hides as tough as rusty nails. And though you live beyond your means, and your daughters wear no crinolines, nor are they covered by boots or shoes, but live wild in the bush with the kangaroo. And here we are in New South Wales, sheer in shape as big as whales, with leather necks and shaggy tails, and hides as tough as rusty nails. And the more they try to keep me down, the better I live in Sydney town. The more they try to keep me down, the better I live in Sydney town. Well, you've heard of the mighty rushing it out to the goldfields, all are turning out. Rush-away. Favourite spot I've heard him say lies 100 miles away. Rush me, Chaladas, rush away. A hood to Brian's ranges. Rush away, rush away, rush away, rush away. All the places Christians, Brian's running the cottage, £20 a ton. Rush away. To load your swag upon the dray, it seems a lot of tin to pay. Rush me, chilla, that's rush away. Out to Brian's ranges. Rush away, rush away, rush away, rush away. Well, I've heard him say that in that water you walk 10 miles to fetch your water. Rush away. The snowy mountains in 1910 and the gold rush here is on again. Rush me, chilla, that's rush away. Out to Brian's ranges. Rush away, rush away, rush away, rush away, rush away, rush away. Jim Burke is mighty worried for his creeks are running dry. If he doesn't get some money soon, he'll kiss his palm goodbye. He's written off to Brisbane and he's waiting their reply, and he hopes it's on the stage of Cobb & Co. Cobb & Co, Cobb & Co, and he hopes it's on the stage of Cobb & Co. But the more they try to keep me down, the better I live in Sydney town. The more they try to keep me down, the better I live in Sydney town. And oh sure it's home I'd love to be, far from the bush and the back country. 16,000 miles I've come to waste me life as a shearing bum. And here we are in New South Wales, sheer and shape as big as whales, with leather necks and shaggy tails, and hides as tough as rusty nails. There's a trade you all know well, droving cattle over on every track to the Gulf and back below the Queensland Rover. And past the really round boys from let the bike not stand there, or the light will take the help of every overlander. as I pass along me way, them children raise me dander, saying, Mother dear, take in your gear, here comes an overlander. And pass the billy round, boys, don't let the pipe pot stand there, for the night will drink the health of every overlander. Oh, there's men from every land, Spain, France and Flanders, a well-mixed pack of white and black, the Queensland overlanders. And pass the billy round, boys, don't let the pipe pot stand there, for the night will drink the health of every overlander. And there's a trade you all know well, droving cattle over, on every track to the Gulf and back, men know the Queensland rover. And pass the billy round, boys, don't let the pipe pot stand there, for the night will drink the health of every overlander. And as we wallop around Cape Horn, heave away, hollow hey, you wish to God you never was born above for South Australia. And all the way her rolling king and heave away and hollow hey, all the way you'll hear me sing about for South Australia. And in South Australia I was born, heave away, hollow hey, South Australia round Cape Horn abound for South Australia.
Used to be a flower child in Frisco. After she ran away from home, now she carries neighborhood petitions so they won't bus her kids away from home. And once she made a march in Alabama, for the black she stood and made her stand. Now she fears they might move around her and depreciate the value of her land. And where are the pictures of Martin Luther King, Kennedy and Dylan? They're blowing in the wind. And where are the records by the Grateful Dead, gone with the smoke of the book she never read? She used to drive a yellow painted camper, now she drives a yellow country Squire. She watches Lawrence Welkin get excited, but somehow it don't set her on fire. And where are the pictures of Martin Luther King, Kennedy and Dylan? They're blowing in the wind. And where is the groupie who used to sleep with bands? Now she's a lady with a teacup in her hand. She used to be a flower child in Frisco, and once she marched in Alabama too. She used to follow bands in her camper, and now she's the mother of two. So God bless your lady and your PTA. I'm just an old guitar picker, and I won't give you away. Okay, this song is a warning to all Scottish girls to avoid Irishmen. Up among the heather in the hills of Bennickee, sitting wee Vega, rolling on me knee, when a love be stung me well above the knee. Up among the heather in the hills of Bennickee. One day I went walking in the merry month of May. I met a little Scottish girl, and this to her did say, let me walk along with you and hold you by the hand. Maybe I can help you fill your wee tin can. Up among the heather in the hills of Bennickee, sitting wee Vega, rolling on me knee, when a love be stung me well above the knee. Up among the heather in the hills of Bennickee.
So we walked along for quite a while till we came by the stream. Then she says, come here, me boy, and show me what you mean. Come on and keep your bargain, I'll help you if I can. The two of us will start to fill me wheat tin can. Up among the heather in the hills of Bendickey, sitting me a big rolling on me knee. When I up this on me, well above the knee. Up among the heather in the hills of Bendickey. So we sat down together, close by the stream. Then I said, come here, girl, I'll show you what I mean. And I hugged her and I kissed her like an Irishman. And it didn't take me long to fill her wee tin can. Up among the heather in the hills of Bendickey, sitting we a wee rolling on me knee. When I up this on me, well above the knee. Up among the heather in the hills of Bendickey. So girls, when you're courting, take my advice. Never let an Irishman kiss you more than twice. But all the while he's cuddling you, he's thinking up a plan to get a little rattle from your wee tin can. Up among the heather in the hills of Bendickey, sing me a big rolling on me knee. When I up this done me well above the knee. Up among the heather in the hills of Bendickey. Up among the heather in the hills of Bendickey, sing me a big rolling on me knee. When I up this done me well above the knee. Up among the heather in the hills of Bendickey. Up among the heather in the hills of Bendickey, sing me a big rolling on me knee. When I up this done me well above the knee. Up among the heather in the hills of Bendickey. Up among the heather in the hills of Bendickey, sing me a big rolling on me knee. When I up this done me well above the knee. Up among the heather in the hills of Bendickey. Ho, row the rattling bog and the bog down in the valley, oh. Ho, row the rattling bog and the bog down in the valley, oh. Well, on this bog there was a tree, a rare tree, a rattling tree. Tree in the bog and the bog down in the valley, oh. Ho, row the rattling bog and the bog down in the valley, oh. Ho, row the rattling bog and the bog down in the valley, oh. And on the tree there was a limb, a rare limb, a rattling limb. Limb on the tree, and the tree in the bog down in the valley, oh. Oh, roll the rattling bog, and the bog down in the valley, oh. Rare bog, the rattling bog, and the bog down in the valley, oh. Well, on that limb there was a branch, a rare branch, a rattling branch. Branch on the limb, and the limb on the tree, and the tree in the bog down in the valley, oh. Oh, roll the rattling bog, and the bog down in the valley, oh. Oh, roll the rattling bog, and the bog down in the valley, oh. Well, on that branch there was a twig, a rare twig, a rattling twig. Twig in the branch, and the branch on the limb, and the limb on the tree, and the tree in the bog down in the valley, oh. Oh, roll the rattling bog, and the bog down in the valley, oh. Oh, roll the rattling bog, and the bog down in the valley, oh. Well, on that twig there was a leaf, a rare leaf, a rattling leaf. Leaf on the twig, and the twig in the branch, and the branch on the limb, and the limb on the tree, and the tree in the bog down in the valley, oh. Oh, roll the rattling bog, and the bog down in the valley, oh. Oh, roll the rattling bog, and the bog down in the valley, oh. Well, on that leaf there was a bug, a rare bug, a rattling bug. Bug on the leaf, and the leaf on the twig, and the twig in the branch, and the branch on the limb, and the limb on the tree, and the tree in the bog down in the valley, oh. Oh, roll the rattling bog, and the bog down in the valley, oh. Oh, roll the rattling bog, and the bog down in the valley, oh. Well, on that bug there was a hare, a rare hare, a rattling hare. Hare in the bug, and the bug on the leaf, and the leaf on the twig, and the twig in the branch, and the branch on the limb, and the limb on the tree, and the tree in the bog down in the valley, oh. Oh, roll the rattling bog, and the bog down in the valley, oh. Oh, roll the rattling bog, the bog down in the valley, oh. Speed it up a little bit. And on that hare there was a flea, a rare flea, a rattling flea. Flea in the hare, and a hare, and a bug, and the bug, and the leaf, and the leaf, and the twig, and the twig, and the branch, and the branch, and the limb, and the limb, and the tree, and the tree, and the bog down in the valley, oh. Oh, roll the rattling bog, and the bog down in the valley, oh. Oh, roll the rattling bog, and the bog down in the valley, oh. Well, on that flea there was a dog, a rare dog, a rattling dog. Bug and the flea, and the flea, and the hare, and the hare, and the bug, and the bug, and the leaf, and the leaf, and the twig, and the twig, and the branch, and the branch, and the limb, and the limb, and the tree, and the tree, and the bog down in the valley, oh. Oh, roll the rattling bog, and the bog down in the valley, oh. Rare bog, the rattling bog, and the bog down in the one more time. Oh, roll the rattling bog, and the bog down in the valley, oh. Oh, roll the rattling bog, and the bog down in the valley, oh.
Crazy man with the earphone says I may now proceed.
I bought her some candy and some flowers, and I memorized the poem that she adored. And I wore the aftershave that drives her crazy, and I dragged her down to Sweeney's pub to score. Yes, I did. But then, at that very crucial moment, when I was holding her so tenderly, she looked up at me with those big blue eyes and whispered in my ear these words to me. You won't respect me in the morning. You won't want me anymore. You'll go bragging to the guys about me, and you'll have them all knocking at my door. Yes, you will. Well, I hope I didn't get you too excited. And honey, would you give my cigarette a light? 'Cause I know you won't respect me in the morning if I give it all to you tonight. Well, I couldn't believe what I was hearing as I sat there all horny on the road. She was as cold as an ice cube, and I was hot as an old pot-bellied stove. Well, I told her I'd love her forever. Told her we'd get married someday, third Tuesday of next week. She looked up at me with those big blue eyes and said, no matter what you say, you won't respect me in the morning. You won't want me anymore. You'll go bragging to the guys about me, and you'll have them all knocking at my door. Yes, you will. Well, I hope I didn't get you too excited. Honey, would you give my cigarette a light? 'Cause I know you won't respect me in the morning if I give it all to you tonight. If I give it all to you tonight. Everybody here probably knows. It's a lesson too late for the learning, made of sand, made of sand. In the wing of an eye my soul is turning. In your hand, in your hand. Are you going away with no word of farewell? Will you leave not a trace left behind? Well, I could have loved you better, didn't mean to be unkind. You know that was the last thing on my mind. As I lie in my bed every morning, without you, without you. Each song in my heart dies a burning. Without you, without you. Are you going away with no word of farewell? Will there be not a trace left behind? Well, I could have loved you better, didn't mean to be unkind. You know that was the last thing on my mind. You've got reasons aplenty for going. This I know, this I know. For the weeds have been steadily growing. Please don't go, oh please don't go. Are you going away with no word of farewell? Will there be not a trace left behind? Well, I could have loved you better, didn't mean to be unkind. You know that was the last thing on my mind. Well, I could have loved you better, didn't mean to be unkind. You know that was the last thing on my mind. Ah, yes. I proselytized for this drink. Half mist and half Bailey's. It sets you free. Just after the third drink, your tongue goes. Well, it's your teeth that get numb, see? I do this. This is an Australian song that I just recently found, and I, for some reason, fell in love with it. I can't really say why, except that
really got me.
Oh, once I was a landed man that lived for drinking tea. Now I am a mariner that sails the angry sea. For I always loved seafaring life, so I bid me love adieu, and shipped a steward and cooked me boys on board the Kangaroo. Well, I never thought she would prove false, nor either prove untrue, as we sailed away through Milford Bay on board the Kangaroo. Ah, think of me, oh think of me, she tearfully did say, when you are in some foreign land and I am far away. And keep this lucky threepenny bit, it'll help you bear in mind that love and grief and faithful heart you left in tears behind. She covered me with the salt from her tears so bitterly. She laughed, she cried, she wept inside and could not say goodbye. Oh, we won't be gone for very long, 'tis but a month or two, and when I return again, of course I'll come and visit you. Well, I never thought she would prove false, nor either prove untrue, as we sailed away through Milford Bay on board the Kangaroo. Well, our ship, the Pen, was homeward bound from many's the foreign shore, and many's the foreign present unto me love I bore. I brought tortoises from Tenerife, ties from Timbuktu, and a China rat and a Bengal cat and a Bombay cockatoo. And I set off but straight away for a place above the town, where an ancient dame upon the line was hanging out her gown. Where is me love? She's vanished, sir, about 6 months ago, with a merchant man who drives the van for Chapel, Son and Co. Well, I never thought she would prove false, nor either prove untrue, as we sailed away through Milford Bay on board the Kangaroo. Oh, once I was a landed man that lived for drinking tea. Now I am a mariner that sails the angry sea. And I never thought she would prove false, nor either prove untrue, as I sailed away through Milford Bay on board the Kangaroo.
No, I wish I did. And this song is about those people who live up in the equatorial areas of Australia where there isn't much rainfall anyway. It's hard to farm. You're a long ways away from anywhere. And about the only thing that flourishes seems to be the cockatoo. So the people who farm there are called cockies. And
oh, for nearly 60 years I've been a cockie. Of droughts and fires and floods I've seen plenty, and this country's dust and mud have seen my tears and blood. But it's nearly over now, and I'm easy. Well, I married a fine young girl when I was 20, but she died in giving birth when she was 30. No flying doctors then, just a gentle old black gin. But it's nearly over now, and I'm easy. She left me with 2 sons and a daughter, in a bone-dry farm whose soil cries out for water. Though my care was rough and ready, they grew up strong and steady. But it's nearly over now, and I'm easy. Well, my daughter married young and went her own way, and my sons lie buried by the Burma Railway. On this land I've made my own, I just carried on alone. But it's nearly over now, and I'm easy. Well, for nearly 60 years I've been a cockie, and of droughts and fires and floods I've seen plenty, and this country's dust and mud have seen my tears and blood, but it's nearly over now, and I'm easy. Yeah. Okay, the request is for a song called Clare's Dragoons. This is a song for those who like their history of one of the leaders of one of the flights of the wild geese, the people who got out because it was highly prudent for them to do so. In the case of Lord Clare, he managed to get himself out of Ireland with enough money left over somehow to smuggle out his entire brigade of dragoons or cavalry. He re-outfitted them in Spain with horses and weapons, and then they went and fought for France. Anything they could to get in a few more licks at Mother England. And they did very well. And the battle flags they won were kept at the cathedral in the town of Ypres in France. And they are now finally back in Dublin, where you can see them, I guess, at Trinity College. But this was the regimental song of that unit. It was designed to be sung at a slow canter by an awful lot of people. I wish I could hear that once. When under Amelia's bloody field the baffled French were forced to yield, and the victor Saxon back were reeled before the charge of Clare's dragoons, and the flags we conquered in that fray look lone in Ypres choir, they say. Well, we'll win them company today, or we'll bravely die like Clare's dragoons. And viva la for Ireland's wrong, viva la for Ireland's right, and viva la in the battle throng for a Spanish steed and a sabre bright. Well, the brave old lord died near the fight, but for each drop he lost that night, a Saxon cavalier shall bide the dust before Lord Clare's dragoons. For never when our spurs were set, and never when our sabres met, could we the Saxon soldiers get to stand the shock of Clare's dragoons. And viva la for the new brigade, viva la for the old one too, and viva la for the rose shall fade and the shamrock shine forever new. Oh, comrades, think how Ireland pines, her exiled lords, her rifled shrines, and her dearest hope, the ordered lines and the bursting charge of Clare's dragoons. Then fling your green flag to the sky, be Limerick your battle cry, and charge till the blood floats fetlock high around the track of Clare's dragoons. And viva la for the new brigade, viva la for the old one too, and viva la for the rose shall fade and the shamrock shine forever new. And when on Amelia's bloody field the baffled French were forced to yield, and the victor Saxon backward reeled before the charge of Clare's dragoons, then fling your green flag to the sky, be Ireland your battle cry, and charge till the blood floats fetlock high around the track of Clare's dragoons. And viva la for the new brigade, viva la for the old one too, and viva la for the rose shall fade and the shamrock shine forever new. Well, a song called San Miguel. Down by the Mission San Miguel stands a great house wherein dwell Don Carlos la dueña Maria Helena Cantrell. I serve at the ranch, I saddle her mare, I ride with a gun behind as she visits her friends here and there. She says, thank you, Manuel, or Manuel, por favor, or good evening, Manuel. La dueña Maria Helena Cantrell. I dream of the Mission San Miguel, and it says to me, the mission bell, she is married, Manuel, the wife of the rancher Don Carlos Cantrell. You serve at the ranch, you hold her chair, you carry her boxes, trunks, letters and books here and there. But I hear with my heart what she says with her eyes, with good evening, Manuel, or Manuel, por favor, or the carriage, Manuel, or Manuel, close the door.